Welcome to Real Flix Reviews. We're like a book club for people who hate reading. This week is theater picks. We did Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. We're doing the TV show The Colony, and we bring you movie news. This week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, and Ryan Preston. Before we start, I want to thank our generous anonymous benefactor for pausing for the cause and donating to Old Guy Tech TV and Real Flix Reviews. We now have an audio podcast. You can catch us on Podbean, Stitcher, and iTunes, and a couple of more coming down the pike. And Superman, Dawn of Justice, here's the description. Fearing...
Wait, it became Superman?
Yeah, Batman got cut out of it.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Talked about his Batman undies last week.
They had budget cuts. Ask Deadpool. Fearing the actions of Superman are left unchecked, Batman takes on the Man of Steel, where the world wrestles with what kind of hero it really needs. And I need reading lessons.
Yeah, obviously you do.
I gave my $17 back for watching this piece of shit.
I mean, shaky cam much?
Well, I mean, look, I've kind of come to... I'm not one of those people that gets motion sick while watching something like that. I played enough Call of Duty. But at the same time, yeah, it does get a little distracting from the action that I am trying to watch.
Did you notice how racist this film was?
Why?
No.
Did you catch that?
How
No.
terrible it was. I didn't
The
catch
whole freaking kitchen scene.
Oh.
Every damn person's watching freaking Telemundo of Mexico, of all these people stuck and dying, and they're all speaking Spanish. It's like, dude, no, there are white people in the restaurant industry too.
Yeah, they're the chefs.
Sometimes. But yeah, that was a total racist part of the movie. I was like, Jesus, dude, you got freaking Lex Luthor only hiring migrants? Is he supposed to be Donald Trump now?
I was going to say he had the hair Donald Trump used to have.
And this, okay, that's another thing that pissed me off, is Lex Luthor was trying to be the Joker. Since when is Lex Luthor the Joker?
See, seriously, what the hell was going on with the loony type of maniacal villainry?
See, the only thing I was thinking of is they were trying to introduce him as the young, like, incredible genius, slightly insane... Like, not Joker level, but actually genius, and I think...
But there's no businessman in him whatsoever.
No.
It's a complete reimagining, and it's terrible.
That was actually my wife's
horrible.
major complaint, that he wasn't a bald old guy.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah,
I
he
can
was like
understand
20
if
years
it's
younger.
young, but then you got an old Batman. You screwed with the timeline already.
Yeah.
I actually like the older Batman and younger Superman in this one.
Me too, but in every iteration of it, they've known each other for a long-ass time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Batman didn't join the Justice League for 10 minutes and then retire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the way this played it off, though, because you get the more, like, the 80s Killing Joke Batman who was just mean, who didn't care.
Yeah, mean my ass. You have one job. People making this movie, Zack Snyder, Batman doesn't kill anybody.
Yeah. That bothered me.
He like shot 3 guys and then like ran somebody over, and I'm pretty sure he blew somebody up with like a 50 caliber machine gun on the front of his fucking Batman.
And the other one, hold on. The other one that
wait.
pissed me off was the car. He dragged like 3 people in a car for like 5 miles, then launched them into another car that exploded both of them.
But by the way,
that's like 8 people.
But by the way, I actually think it was rotating dual Gatling guns, because that's what it looked like to me.
It was.
There were some things I did think was funny, like the opening scene with Bruce's dad. He looked like Nicolas Cage.
I mean, okay, getting to that nonsense, how many times do we need to see an origin story? I don't give a shit if it's a dream sequence or not. Not to mention how many dream sequences were in this movie. Well, I need to watch what's going on, not the character's fantasy. This is not Inception.
I actually,
good point.
I liked the origin story because it was just enough, even though everybody in the mom knows Batman, it was just enough to introduce his version of it and then move on. The main complaint I heard at how disjointed this movie is, because it goes from Superman to Batman to Batman to Superman, and
it's ridiculous the amount of plot things they were trying to build at one time.
And then, okay, the other one that really pissed me off is Batman's sitting at his computer decrypting the file. Then all of a sudden we go into an alternate universe.
Thank you.
What the hell hell was that?
But
And then hold on. No, he woke up and had some dude reaching at him with Lois is the key. It's like, what the?
Well, see,
What the hell? And then Lois wasn't the damn key. His mom was.
Well, no, this is coming up from the comic
Mama's
book.
boy.
This is coming up from the comic book we've all been reading.
I understand that,
This
but
is-
they didn't
No,
follow
look,
any
this
plot
is,
to it.
This is not coming. It's coming up from
Sorry.
years and years and years. I think 75, if I'm not mistaken, years of Batman. That everybody knows the origin story. Everybody knows the rules. I don't give a shit who you are. An 80-year-old dude knows that Batman doesn't kill anybody. That's why he's a superhero.
Well, we were actually talking about the dream sequence after, by the way, the announcing that
But
Darkseid is there. You had that weird kind of boom mother box tunnel,
Yes.
boom tube, and that's where I actually liked that scene, even though I do think it was kind of throwaway and very ancillary.
it added nothing.
Well, see, the thing is, I think it's going to tie into future movies. I think that's why you needed that. I think that was the only tie-in.
the idea, but the way that Marvel did it, when they first started doing that shit, the reason that I got excited is because I thought, oh great, they're setting the precedent for DC to be able to do this in the future. I thought DC was going to have sort of their individual movies.
Oh, they
leading
are.
up to a thing. No. They threw like 3 or 4 characters into this one.
Yeah,
I
they threw
think-
Aquaman, they threw Cyborg, they threw Flash.
I actually
And
think
then obviously Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
who I wasn't exactly a fan of her character either. I understand that she was hiding out, but Wonder Woman is a warrior.
By the way, do you like it? I love the fact that apparently when it comes to women's armor in the DC universe follows the same rules as it does in RPGs.
Yeah, for sure.
A tactical One Piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gamergate all over again right here.
I do I do kind of like the way they did this, because instead of doing what Marvel did by doing individual stories then a big movie, I think they're trying to do a little reverse. You know, they're doing a big movie, introduce some characters. I don't think it'll work.
Blew their wad in this one. I mean,
Oh,
they
yeah.
made it like 2.5 hours of the most, like you said, disjointed of filmmaking. Apparently, they filmed so much for this movie, and I think it was sort of like the too many cooks in the kitchen kind of thing. You have all
Mexicans.
these things that you wanted to do, but they all don't make sense with each other. It's like there was no editor for this movie.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I mean, there was so much like that this film. I'm looking over the notes I have. I got so much things that I have that are like completely wrong with this film. I mean, the ugliest Batmobile for one. That was like the worthless
yeah.
piece of crap.
But
And then
Like an RC car.
then they kept the same theme with the plane. His Batplane, that looked like a piece of crap too.
But on the other hand, I think this is a takeoff of trying to be more like the previous versions of Batman, where they had it more tied into reality versus, well, the other ones.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
tied into reality when Batman's still doing the disappearing act.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Well, this one was a little bit more into the comic book cartoony universe than the Christopher Nolan's
one?
was.
I mean, it's like they tried to pick from 4 different things. Obviously, the kryptonite gas thing was just a straight ripoff from Dark Knight Rises. But at the same time, it's like you take one kind of nifty thing about that story, but all the things that made that story great, you're just like, screw it, I just want the gas.
Yeah.
Well, don't
I
forget
mean-
about ripping lines out of the Christopher Nolan's. I mean, there's just verbatim on some.
there was only a couple things that I really thought that fit with Batman. One of them was that I liked the fact that he thought about his battle area for Superman, and
Yeah.
picked a non-populated area, a
Right.
building that could be completely destroyed. I thought that was really well thought out. But then, I mean, they throw that right away with him leaving his freaking kryptonite spear there. Batman would never leave his toys lying around.
No.
And then the other one that really pissed me off is, I mean, all of a sudden Wonder Woman knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman. He never played that card with anybody else but Clark because he couldn't keep it away from him.
Right.
She-
Well, not to mention, I mean, people did know in the future, but way, way, way in the future when they'd been a team for a long time. That's
Yeah,
getting
and he
bogged
knew
down
who
into-
the hell they were.
Well, the only thing I could think of is she might have figured it out when when it was the scene with looking at the sword, and that's the only way I can think they were trying to foreshadow it, that she figured it out somehow.
I doubt it.
Oh, by the way, why would Bruce Wayne use his personal email address to email this Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
There are some things that I did like, though. I do really like the darker version of Superman. Because instead of the traditional, he's a Boy Scout, he does no wrong, he has a God complex that he's constantly fighting with.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
But they didn't play that. I mean, the fight that comes down. See, that's kind of what I thought it was going to be. You know what I mean? That sort of, like
That was only
Batman
10
needs to
minutes
take
of the movie.
the God complex down a peg or two just to remind him, that people are still viable or something along those lines. I could have written a better script for this in 20 minutes.
Oh, by
But
the way, Superman
didn't,
doesn't
they
need a
didn't
spacesuit.
go with that. The fight that ends up going down at the end was because, hey, do it, I'll kill your mom.
Yeah.
How dumb is that? Did a 6-year-old write this movie?
And he was Superman, so he could rescue his mom because they didn't have the kryptonite and kill Lex Luthor.
I mean, the other thing that I thought was
Seriously, he had enough time to just crush Lex Luthor's head, or at least tie him up with like rebar, and then just go fly around.
okay.
What's it called? The things that I did like about it, though, so it's not just a shit talking fest. I really did like the suit. I liked his fighting style. I like it when Batman's brutal, obviously brutal without killing anybody. But you get into like the Dark Knight Returns territory, and he's just breaking people's legs just to cripple them.
Yeah.
That's kind of gray area that I like for Batman. That I think the world sort of, that's the only thing that we can kind of accept is when he gets angry, he might just sort of crush every bone in your hand.
Or stab you in the shoulder with a knife as payback.
Yeah, or,
See,
with
that's
a batarang at you that buries 4 inches, but he's not going to kill you. You know what I mean? You have an opportunity to rehabilitate at Arkham Asylum. But I like this fighting style. I really liked the opening scene. I liked how it tied Batman personally into the events of Superman.
Yes.
I like the collateral damage.
That was really well done.
It was from that different perspective, and then thinking like, oh shit, yeah, what if Bruce Wayne was just there on a business trip or something?
Yeah.
I do like how.
But again, I didn't like them meeting so far apart in age. I mean, they kind of came up together. They're supposed to be both about 30 years old.
You see, I liked the introduction. I definitely made Batman a more sympathetic character, which I don't think he normally is. I think it was able to introduce Superman is not as, Boy Scoutish. I like the fact that they're older. That like Batman's older because it gives him the more grisly, like, you're just in the game, boy. I like
it
that
too, but it doesn't.
It doesn't mesh though.
It doesn't mesh. It doesn't. It's for a different time. You play that later on.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a problem with Ben Affleck as Batman. I don't think he was the issue with this movie.
No, actually, I have to agree with you on that. I think Ben Affleck. I don't think he played the worst Batman ever, and obviously
George
he's not
Clooney,
the best. But I
you.
think he did really well with the role he was given.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't given a Christian Bale Batman Begins kind of like, oh shit, this is something new kind of a script. But everyone, there's people that have been writing Batman stories forever. They're still coming out with amazing stories today in the comics. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like somebody writing a movie is just out of ideas or they can't find something. It's possible to do this without completely changing around the actual characters themselves and sort of what they stand for and the larger narrative of the entire thing.
The other thing I'd say is Zack Snyder's way too big of a fan of comic book, considering from what I've researched, there's scenes that are literally panel for panel the same as some of the comic books.
Yeah, but that's not new. I mean, what's his name? Nolan did the exact same thing. I mean, he pulled things directly from the books.
Much? Because there's a few scenes that are literally exactly the same. But
yeah,
live
but
action
like I
versions.
said, it's like he took just like the cool thing with the gas and the thing. That was actually a panel where Oliver
Quinn.
Oliver Queen shoots an arrow at Superman, and he catches the arrow, and then it blows up in his face.
Yeah.
During an actual really good, if you want to see Batman Superman fight, read that comic.
Yeah.
But it's like they took that one cool thing and threw it in with their own narrative that completely changed, again, what we like and what we respect about these characters.
I agree. They threw way too much. There's much material that was in this movie. It definitely could have been 2. The other thing I actually really hated was Lois Lane. I'm really tired of the Daphne Blake version of Lois Lane, who's basically a MacGuffin to get Superman to do something stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is that. I mean, she does play a pretty decent character, but the way she is used, yeah, it is like well, we're just Lois Lane's in trouble again. Here comes Superman to the rescue.
See, I liked the
Yeah.
'90s the '90s TV show, The Adventures of Lois and Clark. I
Oh,
loved
okay.
that version of Lois Lane, kind of the bitchy character, the strong female character, instead of
Yeah.
this.
He's just a Terry Hatcher fan.
Now, speaking of strong female characters, I don't know if you guys felt the same way about this than I did, but I didn't think Wonder Woman was a very strong female character in this flick.
I actually I didn't like her throughout the movie until the fight, and there's a small
Yeah,
second
but-
when she got like thrown back by Doomsday and she smiled. Once I saw
Okay,
that,
but that was the only part. Everything else, like to me, Wonder Woman is just flat out warrior. Like what's the problem? We can't get this door open. Let me kill it.
Yeah,
Well,
let
I
me
see-
cut its head off.
see, I think this
Yeah,
is
Show
or
me
cut
its
the
head, I'll
door's
take it
head
off.
Like literally would be her answer. Like, does the door have a head? I'll cut it off. Like,
well, see, this is why I think they were trying to play off as this is Wonder Woman who's been around for a while, obviously. So I think they're playing. She's doing kind of the Clark Kent. This is the mild mannered version and the real version. I think they're playing up the dual identity way too much, except
Yeah.
for Batman, who's no longer.
I really
Bat-
prefer the kind of sort of blissfully ignorant of the ways of mankind.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of Wonder Woman, where she's just like, why doesn't everybody here just fight?
Yeah.
Like she doesn't understand why people aren't like her.
Well, the
Yeah.
funniest thing is the only person who didn't really have much of a secret identity was Bruce Wayne, because
Yeah.
he's supposed to be a playboy, and in this one, it's kind of obvious he's a fishy son of a bitch. I mean, he's disappearing. He's just
Yeah.
grouchy.
He obviously doesn't care about going down to plant tech or retrieve tech in
Yeah.
costume or any kind of like, let me duck behind a pillar.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna walk into this restricted room. Oh, I'm looking for the John. The fuck, man.
Worst move ever.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. It's like, oh, there's a strange woman that caught me. Let me chase her out the front door. This is not Batman.
And
Yeah.
the other thing I want to know is what they do with the kryptonite that was sticking out of Doomsday.
I don't know. Batman stuck it in his pocket.
You see, this is that I actually agree. The one thing is Batman would have always left a small reserve of kryptonite because Batman doesn't trust anybody. He
Yeah.
doesn't even trust his butler.
See, and that's
Obviously.
the kind of
Yeah.
subtle things that I would expect them to catch on to by now when writing a Batman story, is those kinds of cool little, Batman always has a contingency plan, so to speak,
Yeah.
So before we come to an end, my only
Hold on, Doomsday,
It,
waste of a character. They
not even
wasted,
gonna go into that.
I
I'm letting,
wasted it.
I'm letting it go.
I'll say it's a waste. I do have more about it, but well, we'll have to do an addendum
That's like
additional
another 10
episode.
minutes on
It's
that
like Darkseid coming into the story for 5 seconds and then getting killed. It's
Yeah.
like, no, you missed years of torment and battle and trying to anyway.
So the only out of both these movies, the Superman and the Batman versus Superman, the only thing that came to mind is they need metahuman insurance. I want to see a sign for, did Superman destroy your building? Get meta insurance.
Call Saul.
Exactly.
I can't imagine that insurance company being in business
That's
very long.
stupid. Yeah.
Well, they sell protection plans. So, Ryan, what do you give it?
1.
Wow.
This movie failed on just about every level that counts with me.
James?
This
The one I'll give it is because I said in the beginning I'm going to hold my tongue and not talk shit about Batfleck until I see it. He was arguably the one of the cooler things is when he actually got to play Batman. I liked him, big, brooding, beating the shit out of people aside from him killing.
James?
I actually have to say this is seriously the worst Batman in over a decade.
Yeah,
And
give you
I
that.
actually mean that. I looked up the times, and this is the
Yeah.
worst Batman in over a decade.
So what do you
yeah.
give it?
Have
That's a
no
1 out
fear,
of 5.
Joel Schumacher. You still own the title.
Yeah.
So
Because you set the bar so high that it would be abysmal if somebody could beat you.
they need,
Yeah.
if you haven't seen it, look up Bat Nipples. I won't be so bad. I'll give
I
it
won't
a
be so bad. I'll give it 1.5.
yeah. I'd say because I saw it twice,
Oh,
And
he paid both times.
yeah.
Just walked out the first time.
Shoot, you know what?
I'm gonna go home and read comics. This is bullshit.
It was so. Here's the thing: when it comes to actually staying true to the story, it's a 1, maybe a strong 2, more likely a 1. And as far as entertainment factor, I saw crap blow up. Batman killed things, which is kind of odd. So I'll give it a 2 out of 5.
What, for the novelty?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, rotating dual Gatling guns.
Okay, that doesn't make it better.
If you want to watch that shit, watch Rambo.
There you go. I mean, there's YouTube channels dedicated to that. Go just watch those.
Rambo 4, for the record. First Blood was a really good movie.
Yeah.
The second and third one. If you want to watch Rambo with a sword, watch the third one.
Exploding arrow tips.
Yeah.
Better than nipples on a costume.
Oh, jeez.
And for the record, if Batman actually did decide to make the decision to kill somebody, this is the last thing I'm going to say. If he decided, like, okay, gloves are off, we're killing people now. Hey, Alfred, we're criminals, let's kill people. I'm pretty sure he can come up with more efficient ways to do it than just shooting them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't use a gun.
So we're going to switch to the TV show before Ryan says anymore. Because we all know Ryan hasn't seen this. So it's like
It's
Council.
Colony. It is
Council.
Colony is the name of it. It came out January. Was the pilot. It's pretty much what would happen if Homeland Security ran amok. That's what it seems like to me.
It reminds me of the TV show Jericho combined with V, the old 80s TV
okay.
show. Honestly.
So modern day 1984 kind of?
Pretty
Yeah,
much is what it
combined-
seems like. I mean,
combined
it's
with
got,
aliens, I'm thinking.
It's got Sawyer from Lost and Lori from The Walking Dead.
Okay.
Yeah, she doesn't die in this one. No
I
baby
that's
zombie
nice
pop
of
into her belly or anything
I
like that.
didn't really enjoy this movie. This TV show. I actually fast forwarded it through because it was kind of, well, this is obvious. This is obvious. Oh, this is when she'd and Jim, the guy who played Jim Brass in the original CSI is in there.
Oh yeah. He's
But
in there.
honestly, this TV show sucked.
Yeah, I wasn't really blown away by it. I was kind of,
And
it's just another throwaway TV show for a waste of your time.
And it was slow. Oh, did I mention it was slow? Holy crap. You could have made it 30 minutes and more entertaining.
Yeah, not a very impressive pilot.
New.
So I want to jump on first of movie news.
Wait, hold on.
What are you doing now?
2 things. Are we going to introduce what we're doing for next month when it comes to TV series?
Don't we do that when we announce the damn movie?
Okay. Okay, with that being said, let you know, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a Facebook page. You love us, hate us, let us know, as long as you're creative and maybe a little bit more detailed besides the fat guy sucks. Let us know, we'll read you on air. Also, you can pause for the cause and donate to Real Flix Reviews to help keep the lights on, just like the guy who paid for our podcasting.
So I have some bad news for everybody out there. Tim Burton's representative actually came out and said the Beetlejuice sequel is a fraud. There were some people coming out that were saying that were claiming to be representatives of Tim Burton, and they lied.
Way to go, James. You just made my girlfriend cry.
Dude, I'm pissed too. For what Tim Burton is actually putting out is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I don't know if you guys have seen that trailer.
Yes.
That's what Tim Burton's working on. He is not doing Beetlejuice 2.
Which
he said they're saying it's not going to happen, but it's not on his list of things to do.
But if he does it,
pisses me off.
If he does it, I bet Johnny Depp's going to be in it.
Yeah,
Well,
that was
look,
another
you know,
threat.
a lot of times, not a lot of times, but sometimes when these things get reported via Variety or Hollywood Reporter kind of shit, sometimes they're going off of something like a new studio has acquired the rights to said picture, and they might do something with it in the future. You know, there's a new opportunity for it possibly, and
Or it's news from like a guy who he says, "Oh, I'm a grip on insert movie here," when the guy's really a janitor in a backlot that has been used since the 30s type of thing.
overheard a passing conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, could be anything.
Yeah, I'm still kind of upset. It's like Tim Burton, you got the internet like raving about this for like 2 months, and you're just like, oh no, I ain't doing that shit. What's wrong with you people?
Yeah, it kind of did take him a while to come down and say, I want to know how long after the initial reporting, because it feels like it's been a few months.
Yeah.
And he just let all of us think that Knew Beetlejuice was in the works.
See, in all honesty, I don't think that's a bad thing on his end, because I think he could really help gauge how much people want it. I mean, is it just the fanboys and girls saying, "Oh, I want this," or is it more a segment of society? So I could see there was a lot of this got enough press that I could see him deciding to make it.
You know what, John? Man, you might have even stumbled across something here. I honestly think that it's not above a studio or even an individual to throw something like that out there. Some fake trailer. Hey, kid who mows my lawn, go make a website dedicated to Beetlejuice 2, just to take the pulse. You know, how many Facebook likes does this shit get? How many retweets? And then kind of judge from there. Like, okay, do I have a market anymore?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm gonna go to movie news, and everybody's favorite everybody's favorite admiral is now dead. Admiral Akbar, the actor, died. The actual voice actor for it.
It's no longer a trap.
No, it was a trap. Being born is a trap. It's a death sentence, people.
This is true.
And so we've got some.
Well, he will be missed and forever quoted.
Yes.
Yes. And for the new Blade Runner sequel, Robin Wright and Dave Bautista have been quoted as being in the new movie.
That'll tell you.
Am I the only one that really likes Dave Bautista as an actor?
I hope he's a better actor than he is a wrestler.
I mean, see, that's the thing is wrestlers. For the couple of examples that we have, let's leave out John Cena.
We have Hulk Hogan, we got Dwayne Johnson, and now we have Batista.
Wait. You've got to leave out Hulk Hogan. I love Hulk Hogan, but Urban Commando, come on. I mean,
dude, that was awesome as a kid.
That was at the time when nobody was taking it seriously. I mean, obviously somebody like Dwayne Johnson or The Rock was a more than average charismatic human being. So pretty natural that he went. But I mean, he's become like a really, really amazing actor. And Batista, just from Guardians of the Galaxy, I was just kind of thrilled to see him like dissolve into that guy.
Yeah, that was really cool.
So I agree. I'm looking forward to seeing what movies he gets into. I mean, I liked Blade Runner, aka seen last week, so I want to see how they do what he plays. Shit. And the other thing is Deadpool is the world's highest grossing R-rated movie.
I love that. It makes me so happy.
Yeah, just past Caligula.
Which version? So I'm actually excited. Maybe we're going to start getting more R-rated movies instead of these PG-13 shit shows because they want more people to see it.
Well, I think the audience put their money where their mouths weren't in this particular case. Like basically, you had this vocal minority of sort of the usual. How do I put this? And I don't mean this as a blanket statement, but dumb mothers, basically the mothers out there who thought it was a good idea to go take their 8-year-old to see Deadpool. Or you're dumb.
Or the guy who took his 6-year-old
when I saw to raise children, but that was a bad judgment call. But I think the rest of the audience, the rest of the world showed exactly like, no, we like these. We're adults. We know what this is.
And I think
voting with our dollars.
And I think Deadpool was an amazing example because, no offense to the comic book fans, Deadpool's like way inside baseball when it comes to comic books.
Yeah,
he's very, very niche. I love Deadpool, but I don't know too many people who aren't geeks like us who know of him before this movie.
That's the funny thing is, I mean, how accessible did that movie feel? I mean, my girlfriend who knows nothing about Deadpool sat there and was like, "This movie's amazing,"
And in this possibly maybe good movie news is Tyrese Gibson, everybody knows from the Fast and Furious movies, wants to play the Green Lantern. Because and if you watch
Jon Stewart, I can see that.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking. Jon Stewart was really introduced to me via the cartoon version of the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. I think that would be a fresh start from the craptastic previous version.
Yeah, it wasn't. Who played that?
Deadpool.
Yeah, I was going to say, wasn't that Ryan Reynolds who played the Green Lantern?
Yeah, it was. He played the Hal Jordan version.
So I could... I've
always wanted to see the Kyle Rayner version on the big screen. He was the one, nobody knows this, I'm sure. He was a graphic artist. And the reason that his constructs were so good is because he had such a great imagination for drawing this shit all day. Came up with some good stuff in that one.
Yeah, I do what you're talking about.
So what do you think? I mean, do you think that it'll for one do any good? Because I kind of think Green Lantern's kind of the cheerleader version of a superhero. Yay, I got a ring, you know.
I kind of want to see like Manhunter or
Green
something.
Lantern, quietly one of the most powerful comic book characters ever, but yeah, not really given his due in the big screen yet. And well, okay, look, the grassroots movement for actors actually vying for roles. Donald Glover, who played Troy on Community, great show by the way, folks. Was rallying everybody to try to play Spider-Man. Started out as a joke, but ended up becoming pretty serious on Twitter and Reddit and all this kind of stuff. But I mean, there's actually a place for actors to go and say, hey, I'd love to do this. Here, my audience thinks so too. That's kind of cool.
And that's pretty much how Ryan Reynolds became Deadpool, was basically him going to the community and going, hey, I want to make this movie.
Well, look, I mean, props to him, because there's really nobody that it was better suited for.
Oh no, he'll be Deadpool forever. I mean, he can do other things, but it's just like the guy who played the Joker in the second Nolan movie. I think, to me, he's always going to be the Joker because he did the best live action version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, even I think this one, even when people read comics later on, they might even be hearing Ryan Reynolds in their head after this movie.
They probably will for a long time. I mean, it's just like Mark Hamill playing the Joker in the 90s.
A Batman book without hearing his voice.
Yeah, you can't do it. No, just doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah, so it'll definitely interesting. In another, I don't know if you guys are a big fan of biopics, but Bryan Cranston's going to be playing Lyndon B. Johnson.
I could see it.
Yeah, Bryan Cranston can play the shark from Jaws.
I'd pay to see that.
I thought he was.
I stole that line. Kevin Smith always said that about Ben Affleck, that he could play the shark from Jaws. I quite agreed with him on that one, but
Yeah, I can't really agree with him on that one, or his Scorsese viewpoints. But whatever.
Now, Sarah Jessica Parker could play the horse from Mr. Ed. So I'd be.
I thought that was her mom.
Yeah, that was an old joke.
I think she was related.
So I'm not a big fan of presidential biopics, but I kind of want to see this one.
I don't know, what was the one that came out recently that was for the PM, the Prime Minister in World War II?
Oh, Winston, or
I was trying to remember the name of it. What was that, Ryan?
You mean Winston Churchill?
No. There was one.
Well, we're going to go on that next. So next month's theme is we're going to do movies that we think were underrated. And so, that being said, I'm picking the 1985 classic.
Ooh.
Enemy Mine.
Those words very rarely go together.
Yep. I'm picking the 1985 classic Enemy Mine.
Enemy Mine.
Yes.
Who's in that?
Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr.
I really do like Dennis Quaid. Even in the 80s, he was pretty good.
It's a little bit obscure, being I only know a few people ever actually saw this movie, so
Never even heard of it.
we'll see. And next week, you want to introduce the theme for the TV show, James?
Okay, anyway, it was the King's speech. Sorry, it wasn't the PM, it was the King. Anyway, so what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be picking older episodes, or we're going to pick TV shows that have either been completed or in the works, and we're going to pick episodes that we like the best. So whoever picks an episode that they like the most.
So
to really highlight the show, I guess.
So I'm picking one of the most famous episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation, called Darmok. It's season 5, episode 2 of the 90s Star Trek series.
Is that still on Netflix?
Yes,
I think so.
It is.
Okay, so as of this recording, you might still be able to find Next Gen on Netflix.
So it's season 5, episode 2, and I gave Batman versus Superman a 2 out of 5. James gave it a 1 out of 5. Ryan gave it a 1 out of 5. Next week is season 5, episode 2 of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and as always, see you next week.
Goodbye.